for. This is all about you. So talk to me. I guess we can just all go around of how you got started into cricket, your cricket journey. Like, if it is it family, is it new, is it something you were just naturally good at? Did you suck at first? I want to hear how you got into it and what you feel about it. So we'll start with you, Katika.
Yeah, I got into cricket playing it like it was just another sport. I think I had some major like commitment issues to a certain sport as a kid, so I would play one like every season and keep switching. And I was like very much an outdoor kid, so I would like play outside with my friends, and my parents encouraged it a lot. So I was visiting my childhood friend one day when I was in, I think, middle school, and we he had like a cricket practice that day, and I didn't know it was played professionally in America. So until then, like I would play maybe at potlucks with like my family friends and my cousins, but not really seriously or anything like that. So once I went to cricket practice, I actually enjoyed it a lot. And the coach at that time was the USA Women's head coach. So I had like very nice guidance, and he walked me through it and told me that there was a very bright future for girls that started playing cricket then. So I just started and I stuck with it.
That's so awesome. It's almost cooler that you didn't go in it with an intention of like, this is what I'm going to do. It was just something you loved and something that was part of your life and your world. And yeah, lo and behold, this thing I'm really good at, actually, I can keep doing. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Disha, what about you? How'd you get into this?
So I started playing around 3.5 years ago. My dad grew up playing the sport, so I was always watching his games during the weekends, and I would spend like 9 hours at the cricket ground just watching him play. And I actually hated the sport growing up because I think it was too hot, and I would just have
And
to
you just have to watch. Like, that's not fun for you yet. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, he told me to try it, so I did, and I started to really love it, and yeah.
And that's the rest is history. Well, gorgeous. Aditi?
So I was kind of like Geets, except I didn't like cricket was kind of like the first major sport I played. So I used to play the guitar and I used to do dance. And then I started tennis, and then I finally started playing cricket. Well, my first exposure to cricket was the 2015 World Cup. So I saw like how it brought my family together. My family's a huge cricket fan. Like they're all huge cricket fans. So
Like, it's
yeah,
weird
so
if you
that's
don't like cricket in your family.
yeah, so that's
Right.
how I kind of got like introduced to it. And then my brother also started playing cricket, so that's kind of how I eased into the sport.
Awesome. Love to hear it. Personally, I just have to say, I love that I'm interviewing lady cricket players because, like the guys get their time, whatever. Like, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm super happy that you're all here right now. So in the vein of getting started, it's around your family, it's around your life. We will fall into it. We all kind of try different things. You're not just going to be good and like the first thing you do, right? That's why you kind of run the gamut and get through the variety of all the options. But now that you've landed on cricket, who who in your life really influenced that? Whether it was a family member or guru, I know you spoke on some of your coaches, but Keith, if you want to start with us and just tell us who influenced you, who was, what were those bonds like that maybe encouraged you or gave you a challenge? People in your
Um,
life.
I think my biggest influence was definitely like my dad growing up. He really like, put a lot of work in behind the scenes for my brother at first and then for me when I started picking it up. And, he's just a really big cricket fan and the way that he, helped me, guided me. I was kind of a slow learner at first, so he was really patient with me and, he really stuck through it. He's definitely my biggest influence and like, yeah, it's kind of like
Does your
another
dad
reason I
still
kept
play? Do
going.
you guys ever play together?
Yeah, he still helps me like practice and train.
Cool.
So yeah, he's definitely still one of my first mentors and coaches.
That's awesome. Family can be a good mentor, and sometimes they just annoy the crap out of you. But either way, we love them, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this has nothing to do with cricket, but when I was learning to play piano, my mother's a piano player, and she would literally tell me what the note was, and I'd be like, no. it's not that note. Like that's just it doesn't work. But the
Yeah.
patience is a huge element in that. So I'm glad your father had that for you to get you into that. Gitika, you want to tell us about your influences, the people who helped you and are still helping you right now through this?
Yeah, I didn't really have like my dad played cricket in college, but he didn't really play when he came to America. But once I started playing cricket, I felt like it was a real way for me to bond with my dad and just have something to connect over. So I really enjoyed playing for that reason. And then once I started playing and making new friends, like playing with the boys, and we really had a lot of fun playing cricket and other sports after practice. I really enjoyed just the connections that I was making, and it was a great way to stay in touch with them. So I just kept playing and kind of just building connections and relationships, and I enjoy talking to them today too.
Yeah, it helps when they have something to say too, right? Yeah. Disha.
Mine would be the same. My dad, like when I first started, he made me do this 2 week trial for cricket, and I remember I still didn't like the sport, but he kind of pushed me to keep going, and I ended up really falling in love with the sport. And I mean, I practice with him to this day, so he was definitely one of my biggest influences in picking up the sport.
I love that. The biggest thing that I've heard so far in talking to people is how much it is in the family, something that you really cool. Gitiko, tell me about your experience balancing anything other than cricket in your life with cricket.
Yeah, well, currently I guess I'm a junior now in college. I'm used to saying sophomore because it just ended recently,
Right.
but this is my first year of attending college in person. I took a year like off at an online community college while I was playing in the World Cup.
Yeah.
And so
Casual.
I'd say balancing cricket now, it's a totally different ball game. Like through high school, my school was also very supportive, like this shows all my absences were excused and I had time to make up work when I came back. But college is so different because you're just one student in like thousands of students. But my professors are very supportive and I'm a business major, so I get lucky because all of my lectures are recorded and posted online right after class.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really great. And I think the hardest part for me is maybe like all of the teamwork and group work that comes along with being a business major and like navigating the time zone differences or anything like that. But material wise and concept wise, I'm loving balancing cricket in school. And I think it's great that I have the privilege of doing both.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about the teamwork with that. I'm sure they can influence one another, right? All of these themes in life kind of help each other out when it informs the other thing you're already doing. You're like, I have something that's applicable for this. Thank you for that life lesson. Aditi,
Yeah.
what's it like balancing your life and cricket?
So unfortunately, my school was not at like as lenient at all. Last year I had less absences than this year, I think, because I had like we all were at the World Cup together. But after that, none of my absences were excused, so I had to switch to
The World
online
Cup was it,
school.
huh? They were like, this is the line.
Yeah, soon after actually, like around the end of the school year.
Okay.
So I had to switch to online school because everything was pretty last minute and we just had nonstop cricket for the rest of the year. So yeah, I mean, like online school gives me the privilege of handling my time a little better. Like I can focus more on practicing and
True.
cricket, but at the same time, I'm kind of a little like cut off from, social interactions. So it has
True.
its, like perks and, advantages, but I'm thankful that I can still like focus most on what I love doing. So yeah.
Absolutely. It's cool that you all seem incredibly conscious of what a gift and privilege it is to have the opportunity to do all this great stuff with it. And I think that like how have you noticed any growth or just changes in the way it's received out here in the US?
Yeah, it's definitely growing really, really fast. And I'm really glad to see that. When I first started playing cricket, I'm sure when I introduced it to like my friends, they wouldn't even know what the sport is. And now there's at least some talk about maybe like the Cricket World Cup or the different women's leagues around the country, like the IPL, I'm sure a lot of people are getting like reels on their Instagram or TikTok about cricket, and then they at least stop and take 10 seconds to think about what that is.
Right,
But
right. Whether they knew it before, it's being shown. They're being exposed.
yeah, and there's so many more kind of events that are coming to kind of merge cricket with the rest of the world. I know there's like warehouse cricket slash baseball now, and some of those reels come up on my phone, and I'm intrigued. Like maybe I could play that one day.
Why not?
But it's great seeing all of these new girls, new faces. I mean, I remember seeing Disha at one of the tournaments for the first time ever. And if you told me today that we would be, I hope, best friends and talk to each other every single day, I don't think I would have believed you.
It's
But
so
yeah, it's
awesome.
great seeing that growth.
Absolutely. That's so great. Um, Aditi, we talked a bit about how you got started and but are there any other gurus or influences that you felt growing up helped you balance like sacrifices that had to be made or things like with homeschooling? Like I feel like you had a really specific journey coming into this. Would you want to expand on that?
Well, in like for cricket, I've been training with Coach Daly. He's my coach back in New Jersey and over here. Um, but yeah, he's been with me since I was a little kid, since I started this sport. He was my first coach, and he still is to this day. So having a constant mentor in cricket has been great. Sometimes it can get a little confusing when you have to keep switching coaches, but I'm lucky that I've had one constant person in my life. And outside of cricket, I definitely say like my parents, big support system. They've been willing to do whatever that like whatever I want to like help me do better in sports and in life general to like balance everything. And having great teammates is amazing because they're also going through what I'm going through. And I know a couple of girls who also did online school, so it was just nice seeing that like I'm not the only one. And yeah.
Absolutely. And I think maybe in something where cricket, like you said, wasn't where we were talking about, it wasn't as widely known. The fact that it is expanding is probably giving you a bit more validation. But I could only imagine in the beginning of it kind of being like, all right, my family got me into this. My coach got me into this. I do like it. Is this okay? Like, do you guys even know what this is? But to see it growing and know that, like, yeah, I stuck with this because I love it and it's kind of paying off. Not that it needs to be widely received, but I'm sure it feels good to have a little more appreciation on how amazing you guys are at this. Um, where would you like to see yourself 5 years from now in this industry?
Definitely.
I know it's a big question.
Yeah. I hope, well, for one, I want to see USA Cricket grow as much as it can, win more games. And we do have a lot to look forward to because the Olympics are coming up and, just show out and, like see USA Cricket as successful as possible and see the growth of girls in America grow, but also hopefully being able to play US cricket in the US as a full-time career is definitely something that I can, dream of and pursue it as a career. So that's definitely where I want to see myself.
Beautiful. It sounds like you're definitely on your way. Um, so we had lots of mention. Ravi was telling me about the USA team fielding specifically. So what is the team's plan for improving on your fielding front?
Am I taking that question?
Yeah. Oh, I'm just talking to you right now. Yeah. Sorry. And also, if at any
Oh,
point someone
okay,
feels
okay.
inspired, go for it. But
Um, I think the tough question. I think as a unit, we all know it's something we need to work on, obviously, but it's up to us when we come back from tours to individually work on it so that when we come together as a team, we do better as a unit. And I think it's something definitely that's, in the works. Like we're all trying, we're all working hard. And, with like cricket growing in the US, we're going to have better fields, more access to better facilities. And I think that that also plays a part in our fielding. So when we go out on tours, it's not something that feels foreign to us. And I think it's something that we're all working towards, and it's only getting better. So yeah.
Yeah. And things like you were mentioning with resources and whatnot, even if it came to a point where as it expands, there's a space for it in the schools you're going to growing up, where it's not just this extracurricular thing or a rarity to have a field that you can actually train in and work in and play. Um, but yeah, here's to that coming and people getting on the train with it. Um, so this is going to be for everybody. Who is your favorite lady cricketer of all time? Can you pick one? And if you can, I want to know. We'll start with you,
Um,
Aditi. Pressure.
so, I definitely look up to a lot of cricketers, but I guess the reason why, or the person the first cricketer I looked up to when I started playing was Mithali Raj. I loved batting, and to see someone carry a whole team on their shoulders, I think that was really inspirational for her at that time when I was growing up. She was very consistent. She was really elegant, like in how she batted, and she was a very calm leader. So lots of qualities that I loved about her, and she's someone that I kind of copied on the field. I would like wear chains like her, and like wear a towel, and like stuff that she did, like the little quirks. I kind of like that. I kind of carried that onto the field, and even though she doesn't play anymore, she was definitely one of my biggest role models growing up.
Cool. Disha, who's your favorite lady cricketer of all time?
Mine would be Harmanpreet Kaur. I love her style of batting, and I love her mannerisms, especially when she's on the field, and I feel like she carries herself really well.
Beautiful. Katika.
I would be Elise Perry. When first started playing cricket, the first games I really started watching was the WBBL that season. So I was a really big fan of the Sydney Sixers, which Elise Perry was the captain of. And I really enjoyed watching her bat, bowl, field, literally anything, any screen time, I was glued. And she's like a very hardworking player. A lot of my coaches have told me that about her, and her work ethic is like something to really look up to and try and aspire to do yourself. So I really enjoy watching her. I think she's one of the best all rounders of all time. And so she's my player that I look up to. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. You hear about these incredible athletes, these incredible players, and I think it's so affirming to hear from someone on the inside who actually knows and to say, yeah, I've seen their drive. Yeah, I've seen them training. They show up early. They do these things because it kind of humanizes them in a way where they're not just these superheroes that are just casually fabulous at everything. Like there's a reason they got there, and you as players in this game understand what it takes, understands that work ethic. But I'm sure it probably hypes you up to just be like, exactly, that's why I'm working the way I am, because your role models, that's what it took them to get there, I guess. And so you clearly all know each other. You are a diverse crowd together in your experiences. Do you have any funny stories, any weird incidents that you've had like on these journeys, playing together, playing against each other, however it's worked growing up? Anything you want to share that could give us a laugh, maybe? Embarrassing moments? I'll give you a moment to think about it.
So I feel like every time a new tour comes up, it's just always a new experience. Like I feel like I'm never tired of these girls. Like sometimes I wish I lived with them. Like I wish I was with them all the time because I know every time I'm on tour, I'm always laughing. But it's always a new experience, and you just never get bored when you're around everyone.
Means you're around the right people.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, if anyone thinks of anything they want to share throughout this, feel free to just speak up. Disha, so your father, what's your father's name, Mr. Rajat? Is that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. He's a cricketer, correct? Himself.
Yes.
How much of that you talked about? Obviously, that's how you got into it. still, how does that influence the cricket player that you are now? You know, what's that like since you are professional and grown and very much your own human, not a little girl being shown what this is now. How has that evolved, having him involved?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I never would have started playing if it wasn't for him, and he was, I would say, one of my coaches. I mean, almost every day we're downstairs in the basement, and he's always giving me throwdowns. So he definitely has influenced the way I play and the way that I bat.
And is he still involved in your excited for you all and inspired to see what's going to come next and where you're going to go because it's bigger than talent, right? It's your mental stamina, it's your humility, it's your character. And I think that is the reason why all three of you are where you are already. So, past that, I'm going to give you one more fun question on the way out. I want to know if you have rituals, like lucky things you think you have to do before the game? Do you do it as a team? Do you do it individually? Like, I want to know about like if there's any superstitious stuff you have to do, or if it's just like I'm doing push-ups and punching a wall and I'm ready to go. You know, tell me. I need you to tell me about what your pre or post game rituals are like.
In terms of rituals, I think I kind of want to like step onto the field with like, kind of like like calm, stable, empty head. So like for me, it would just be like meditating or like praying, whatever that is, to just help me clear up my thoughts.
Yep.
In terms of superstitions, I think I'm definitely one of the more superstitious ones. I had like this crazy superstition that like if my left shoe unties while I bat, I won't tie it. And I definitely got a bit of heat from people. So I stopped doing that, for safety reasons, obviously. But
Of course, of course. Okay, we've
yeah,
debunked that myth. Got it.
yeah. So no more I have to tie my shoe. So
Okay. Well, I'm proud of
but
you
yeah,
for learning that one. Yep. We
yeah,
want to
and
keep you in compact throughout the whole game. One
yeah,
piece.
yeah, and I definitely have a thing of like cricket karma. Don't say anything too soon. It might bite you back later. So stuff like that. Yeah, I'm definitely a little superstitious,
Got
but
it.
that's about
It's
it.
just, I think it's always interesting how who knows where they come from, but they're real and we fervently believe them when they're in our heads. Disha, anything come to mind for that question?
I don't think I have any rituals or superstitions, but I mean, before a game, we have our bus rides, and I feel like the music definitely brings me up. I feel like if we play good music, it's gonna be a good day, and it may not always be true, but I don't know, the music just hypes me up sometimes.
Yeah, lifts the energy. Absolutely. Kitika?
Yeah, I say I don't have that many superstitions either. I definitely agree with Aditi on the cricket karma thing. Like, if you put a camera on our dugout and count the number of times where you can see us knocking on wood, I'm sure it could be like its own reality show. But
You can make a song out of the rhythm from it, probably.
oh yeah, for sure. And but I'd also agree with Disha in terms of like the music on the bus. It really helps me kind of get hype. And I'm always sitting next to Disha, and I can look across the bus and see Aditi. And every single time, you'll see one of us busting a move or like really into that lyrics. Um, so it definitely helps in terms of getting hype, but not really any like religious superstitions on
Yeah.
my end.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. And then one more thing before we go. I'm going to start with Aditi, Disha, Kitika, like we just did. I want you to tell me, not a hypothetical. Tell me your like the best scenario for your cricket career. Where you are, who you're playing for, what you're doing. Give it to me. Don't even think about DT. Where are you? 5 years from now. Everything you want in cricket. What happened?
I'm hopefully in the locker room with a very shiny World Cup celebrating with Team USA. Hopefully, like I mean, I'm pretty sure every single person on this team wants to see that happen, see USA at a really high level, really, really successful. And I think if if that would happen, that would be, or when that happens, that would be really
Absolutely.
amazing.
Desha, no thinking. Where are you 5 years from now? Cricket dreams.
Team USA is playing against India, and we win the World Cup.
Yes. Katika, where'd you
Yeah,
go?
I'm
Five
right next
years.
to Aditi. I'm right next to Aditi in that locker room. I'm probably kissing the trophy, drinking out of it. Like we just beat Australia on that field, and we're walking off knowing that we're on top of that world.
That is what I wanted to hear. Yes. Yes, my ladies. Oh my gosh. You are all so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast and just telling us what it's like in the life, because it is